okay, this is another episode. I'm carrying on immediately from the last one. And today, because I'm posting this tomorrow, I'm going to tell a story while I shoot this tree in the face. In the UK we have, like, in terms of our school system, we have nursery, which is like the very first place you go to. You don't really do much work, or at least you didn't when I was there, because you're like 5. And then there's reception, which is like the first part of primary school, which goes from about like 4 or 5-ish to 12 years old. And then you go to secondary school, and then you go to sixth form or college, and then you can go to university. And back to the actual story. When I was in primary school, we used to have toy days, where usually right before a holiday you could bring in some toys if you felt like it, and everyone could have a play. The issue being, most people in my class at primary school were like really horrible little monsters, which sometimes wasn't fantastic when everyone's bringing in things that they care about and like. And for one toy day, I can't remember how old I was, I bought in a deck of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And for those of you who aren't familiar, Yu-Gi-Oh is a collectible card game where you collect cards with monsters on, or like some other picture, and they do a thing in the game. And it was based on a manga and I don't know if the card game or the manga came first. And there was also a cartoon series, which was weird but kind of cool, and I watched that a lot. I bought in my deck, and I quite liked, well, I bought in 2 decks so someone else could play with me, and I really quite liked this deck just because it had like cards from the show in it. I think I had, can't remember, I think I had almost all of Exodia, which those of you who've seen will remember Exodia the Forbidden One, who was a monster, but you needed to like summon 5 expensive cards to get it, and it was like really powerful. And I also had Blue Eyes White Dragon, which one of the antagonists in the show used often. And Blue Eyes White Dragon is actually the subject of this story, because I can't remember what happened. I left the cards briefly for some reason, and when I came back and looked through them, somebody had taken the fucking Blue Eyes White Dragon. And any of you who collected Yu-Gi-Oh cards at that sort of age will know that if you have a Blue Eyes White Dragon, you don't fucking forget that you have a Blue Eyes White Dragon, because well, it's a Blue Eyes White Dragon. And I sort of asked around, and this guy who hadn't bought in Yu-Gi-Oh cards, we'll call him Lemon. Lemon had a Blue Eyes White Dragon in his pocket when I asked him, which he said was his. It was the only Yu-Gi-Oh card he had. He bought in something else, I don't remember what. And it was like exactly the same variant of it as mine, like an older one, because I got like old cards on the cheap. And it was the exact same one as mine, he just folded it in half, which was weird, and I don't know how he thought he could fool me with that, because I was bullied quite extensively in primary school, and it was mainly because I was the only one who dedicated any of my time to thinking. not to like shit on the other kids there, but I was in a class of very weird and often violent children who perhaps hadn't had the best upbringing. So I had very few friends, which wasn't helped by the fact that I did and still do absolutely despise football or soccer, as Americans will know it, because it's boring and no element of it interests me. But yeah, I didn't have many friends, but one of the reasons was because I knew things and I was interested in learning in my own time. And I could answer, I like listened in class and stuff, which, you know, I understand, because nobody really should, like, school just doesn't work, to put it simply and quickly. So I get, like, just not giving a shit. That's something I definitely understand. But I have always been a massive fucking nerd, so I did give a shit, which made my time difficult. But like, it just makes it confusing that this guy thought he could trick me by folding a card in half. Because I was a gullible child, but I wasn't that gullible, and I was never like gullible for long. I could catch on pretty quickly if someone was trying to fuck with me. But yeah, I had lots of strange experiences in primary school. Some other time this kid, I can't remember his name, so he will be called The Beazer Book 1972, which is a name I pulled off my bookshelf. And he was always quite weird around me. I wouldn't exactly call him a bully, he was more of a kind of non-specific antagonist. And at one point it was in winter, so everyone had their coats and hats on. And he runs up to me and he says, "That's my hat," because I was wearing a hat. He says, "You stole my hat," and I said, "Well," I can't remember what I said, but basically I'd never seen him wearing the same hat that I have, or had at the time. And he wasn't wearing a hat. I hadn't seen him wearing a hat that day, but he'd just run up to me and said that, insisted that I'd taken his hat. Like, I don't... Is it just that I'm expecting too much, like, common sense from primary school children? Because that just seems really, really strange to me. Like, was he trying to take my hat from me? Like, he even went to the teachers and said, "So and so stole my hat." But it wasn't his hat, it was my hat. It was the hat that I bought from home, and I had it in my pocket, and then when I went outside I put it on. It was my hat. Yeah, school. Incidentally, if you're still in school and an adult tells you it's the best time of your life, they're lying to you. That's a lie. School isn't good. It's bad. There are good times you can have in school, but they're not because of school. They're because the good times you'll have in school are because of the other kids there and the teachers you can fuck with if you're that way disposed. School isn't good. And I can almost guarantee you that it won't be the best time in your life, because it's child prison. It's child prison. It's prison for children. Except you don't get paid, unless you're in certain countries. Yeah, well, it's actually quite a good game for stories, just because I don't have to concentrate on it. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's talk to this person. Haven't got a better, haven't got a better voice actors, I see. And also, it's the end of an episode. Goodbye.